Research into demos and analysing patterns and plays has become a bigger and bigger part of the pro scene. You can see on my channel, I like to do this analysis and research myself, so today for you guys, I want to break down the tools I use to do all of these pro demo reviews. And maybe if you like this video, I might go into what I look for on the demos itself when I review them. But that would have to be its own video. Right, let's get through each individual tool that I will use on my way to analysing the pro demos. And any form of note-taking throughout the process that you prefer is best. I generally just break down location of map loosely and break down the round within where it starts on the map. First of all, if I'm fortunate enough, it will begin basically watching the demo live. So this will be watching the tournament that's being played and the match being played in it. This is to get the kind of atmosphere of the game and the story of it. It comes best through watching it live with the commentating and the analyst pieces all in one. Whether it helps give more context to what you're looking for or helps highlight what you want to address, I find watching it live helps massively and can speed up the entire process. As the game goes, I can find myself writing notes of the match, which will help me remember when to look for certain rounds if I'm searching for a particular thing, like certain players playing in certain parts of the map on the CT side. It really just helps me remember pieces from the match that I can review later in the day when I watch back the demo. On top of this, further context is always great when you're reviewing a demo. When you're trying to discuss your analysis piece, it can sometimes become like you're pushing your own narrative, only looking for what you're trying to see and not often getting the bigger picture. Listening to other people talk about the matches and performances you're researching can sometimes help you inform your analysing with some outside perspective on it. For example, you might be looking for why Bit has such a ridiculous percentage headshot, and you could think it's all raw skill that is producing these stats. But what you might miss and ignore is that his teammates are setting up the opponents to be in the worst scenario possible when they do face Bit or when Bit faces them. So a scenario of this could be if they're playing bait setups that puts Bit in a position to get either a sneaky backstab on them or just players not looking at him. Context should be at the foreground of your research when it comes to pro demos, because there is just more to the game when they play it when plebs like us play it. And that's just the truth. As a result, that's why I often recommend people to watch pro demos, because when you do, it really helps budding teams out there learn the specifics of what they might not get just reflecting on their own demos. So that's the first one, catching it live, just giving you your own context around your own demo review. A phrase I like to remember is you can't see the forest for the trees. This is kind of just saying you're looking for the details of a situation, but you're not seeing the bigger picture at all. So always keep that in mind, and that's why I like to catch it live, because of just the other people talking about the game. Let's move on to the next tool. Okay, you can still kind of argue this one's not a tool either. I know the other one was Twitch and YouTube, where it's actually just watching the game, but the next one's HLTV. This is a phenomenal resource we have in the Counter-Strike community. I'm sure that many of you are already aware of this website, and it has a ridiculous amount of historic stats across so many players. Some of the best features I like to take a look at are the filters for the player stats. You can filter through all the maps, group specific maps, and then filter by time, so the last 3 or 6 months can also be filtered down to. Whether it has LAN or online is another thing as well. The stat breakdown you can get off of this is endless. It really helps when you're looking for patterns in performance and against certain teams and on certain sides. There is a lot to derive from historical numbers, and more importantly it comes down to the form of the current player you're looking at, or the form of him in the last year for example. But if we want to have even more numbers a game, if we want to zoom in the lens a little more, we can use the HLTV feature of downloading the demos to apply another tool onto the demo itself. With the demos you can download off of HLTV, we can take a look at them through the use of something called the CSGO Demo Manager. This is an open source piece of software that has Half-Life advanced effects in it built in to help you with reviewing and recording demos, but it has more features than that as well. In the Demo Manager, it has way more stats on the demo itself. You can of course use this software for your own demos as well, so it's not just the pro demos, and with this, you get further information statistically about the game, which can aid you in any research there. The more numbers from the data, the better. So on top of this, you can also get heat maps from this as well, where you can find things like kill locations and all the utility endpoints with the set position command ready for you as well. These features are a quick way to get the exact location of nades and kills. Even being able to export the heat map so you can send it around your team just to give them a quick highlight of what to kind of expect, but you should use it more than that. Speaking of exporting, there is a way to also export all of these stats that I'm talking about, so it's not just stuck in the demo manager. For example, you can get all the kill breakdowns, all the flashes, and all the entries, and you can have it in a nice matrix as well. With this, personally, I am yet to fully utilize the Excel sheet here, as the translation of the data can be hard to clean, but for those into the specifics of the data, you can use this to see patterns in entry successes, flash successes, and so on. And when you finally want to begin to get into the game and take a look at what you need, I move over to Skybox. This is a free product with some extra paid services as well if you put the money in it, but it fully recreates the demo in its own application, and you can watch it play out like you would in CSGO, but with way more features to make use of. So there are many reasons I use this tool for my initial watches of a demo. The biggest one is just how fast you can watch the demo, move around in it, read the UI for key pieces, and the features that can help quickly decipher context for whatever the hell is going on screen. So what do I mean by all of this? First of all, the playback system. It's so much faster than the inbuilt system of CSGO. Being able to skip ahead to rounds later in the game and easily going back to the ones earlier. A big time save when sitting around in CSGO waiting to get back to the earlier rounds. It wastes a significant amount of time and Skybox just does it so much faster. On top of that, the way that you can free look isometrically or like it's an RTS or even just viewing from top down, there are so many ways to actually watch the demo in Skybox that can help. There is often a problem with being unable to move in CS when the match is paused, only working when you have the Half-Life advanced effects. These issues are totally gone in this tool, so you can zip around the map freely, wherever you need to be to look at whatever you want to see. With all of these features of being able to move around outside of the POVs, you might miss some context of who is flashing what, and is that CT smoke or a T smoke? Well, clicking on any utility like that will highlight the player it's from. You can see all these tags at the bottom here, all having their own meaning, but these can display when utility is thrown and when kills come in. With this, you can easily find context for the site executes, protocol patterns, simple set pieces of play, and anything else you can think exists regarding utility. All of this package comes together to help me find my context when it comes to whatever I'm looking to break down within the actual demo itself, and how it was played. Whether I want to focus on how well X player plays these CT spots well, the pieces to that, the timing with it, and so on. This is where you learn exactly how the game was played in the moment, and how it could have been played or should have been played in the scenario as well. The one thing to remember when watching these games back in real time is that the teams only had information up to the current point you're watching and never a moment after. I can literally go on forever about this tool, but that could be a whole episode in itself as well. So let's move on to the final quote tool I use to watch my CSGO demos. And this is the CSGO demo viewer itself. It is self-explanatory that once you have the picture in your mind and an understanding of the context of the game, there is nothing better than to witness it yourself through the POVs of all the players within the actual game. Here, I can really feel what the player is doing, say if there is a set piece running, or them being outpeaked or outpeaking them. What they hear in-game accurately that causes them to make the decisions they make, or what they could experience to inform their what look to be hastily made decisions. If we view the demo from the watch feature in CSGO Demo Manager, we also have the ability to move around the game while it's paused. Simply typing merv_input camera, it's now a free cam, but not in the traditional sense that you may be familiar with when you spectate a generic game. There are some issues with this, but it's the best way to pause the game and look around the whole map within the actual CSGO demo itself in CSGO. Overall, this has been the tools I use when I review pro demos, and to summarize it, I watch it live for more context, I use HLTV for historical data and match stats, the demo manager for further details regarding the match, and Skybox for an actually quick review of the game itself with assisted features to enhance the experience. And finally, the last piece is in Counter-Strike for the real picture of what happened. If you enjoyed this and want me to break down what I actually look for in scenarios, then comment below or tweet at me. If you like this and learn some new tools and features, then you know what to do. There is always more content on the way, so look out for that, and I'll catch you in the next one, Future Pros.